underestimated. But now we know better, thanks to a startling new discovery. This organ is absolutely vital to your immune system, so you need to keep it in good working order. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that, what it is, and how you can protect it. But first, I need a little bit of help. I need an assistant of the day to come up here and, let's see, if you're sitting in seat 102, come on. Is that you? Who's that over there?
Those are my sisters.
Your sisters? Look at them all. They're more excited than you are.
No, they're not.
They're not? What's your name?
Justina.
Justina. Come over here, Justina. So what am I talking about, by the way? And any idea? It's right in front of the kidneys. Come on over here. You ready? Put your gloves on.
Okay.
This is an organ that we thought was just sort of in the way. Who said spleen?
Spleen.
What a smart woman. So grab that there. That's a spleen. Now, let me just explain this for a second. This is an organ. Pick it up for a second. Can you all see that? On the inside, there's a blood vessel that goes to it that pulls a ton of blood from the body. Well, most of the blood goes through it because this houses most of our immune function of the body. And if you get a little, see that little crack that happened there? Can everyone see that? That happens in a spleen in a human being, and this is obviously a human one, but if you take it out, you will hemorrhage to death. So let me show you why this is an issue. Let's take this off for 1 second. Okay, come on over here for a second. So, look at this animation. So the liver's up there in the top left, and this side over here, closer to me, is the spleen. See it coming up behind the ribs? So it's got blood vessels that pour into it. It's behind the stomach, which is that yellowish structure. And those blood vessels do a lot to bring little red cells and white cells into it. Looking microscopically into the spleen, you see all these red blood cells, but some of them are empty looking, like open circles. See how they broke apart and lysed? What the spleen also does is takes your red cells and cleanses them. Now, red blood cells only live for about 120 days in the body. And so someone's got to clean them up. Someone's got to toss them out. It's sort of like with these balls over here. Now, I filled the balloon up with a little bit of stuff. Let's just say it's blood. All right? So if you take a normal-sized spleen, which is what this balloon represents, just throw it over there in that little case. Just toss it in there. Nothing happened, did it?
Nope.
Right? Small-sized structure is not a big deal. But if, of course, your spleen gets enlarged because it's doing overtime work, clearing out infections, dealing with all those red blood cells. That's amazing. Where'd you find these clothes? It could be dangerous. Come on.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you know what? You're doing both of them now. All right. So, just here. So, this is a normal-sized spleen. Throw it in there. What happens? Nothing happens. Okay, now take the big spleen, and you throw it in there. It can't be broken. Are you ready? One last time.
One more time.
All right. So you take a big spleen, and that's what's supposed to happen. The big spleens, when they get pushed upon them, because when they splatter like that, they explode the blood throughout your intestinal system. Interestingly, when people have trauma in war zones and sports players, the spleen cracks and bits of it goes to other parts of the intestinal system and attaches, sets up little satellites. But the spleens, when they get damaged, tend to cause other problems. Now, on the prevention side, there are a few other tips I want to share with you as well. Seatbelts, super effective at preventing splenic injuries. And the other thing that seems to work for spleens, interestingly, dark chocolate, because it enhances the immune system. The flavonoids in the immune system work together well, and it helps the spleen's response to infections that are coming. And finally, vitamins are often found in, for example, in this case, potatoes with skin, which include vitamin B6. And vitamin B6 is especially effective at helping the spleen and our immune system.
Great.
You want to take a potato home with you?
Sure.
I'm going to try to throw it over there with those.
No, you gave it to me. I'm keeping it.
Justinia, thank you for joining us. What a great guest.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Up next, Ask Dr. Oz.
Is there truth behind the alkaline diet? What exactly is it?
And could it be effective against cancer? Plus, the secret to why our hair naturally changes color.
You know how your skin releases pigment, melanin? Well, it turns out it does the same thing in your hair.
That's next.
back. I'm going to give you the mic and answer your questions. Who's first? Get up here. How are you?
How are you, Dr.Oz?
Good.
My name is Joanna,
Hi,
and
Joanna.
I was wondering, is there truth behind the alkaline diet, and what exactly is it, and can it prevent cancer?
So if I had cancer, and by the way, I have zero proof in large human trials, but if I had cancer, I would try an alkaline diet. But let me just explain what it is real quickly. The foods that I keep recommending on the show, the natural foods that come out of the ground looking the way they look when you eat them, they generally will take your pH, which is the acid-base balance of your body, a little bit more towards the basic side. And it is true that in some animal studies, if you take cancer cells and you mix them in a more acidic environment, they'll grow faster. So you want your pH to stay on the high side a little bit more, the more basic side, and foods will sometimes push you just a tiny bit, a little bit high, but they don't take you a long way there. And what scientists, doctors, can't quite figure out is whether that small little nudge to your acid-base mix can make enough of a difference to change the way hormones work in the body and chemicals react, because in theory it could. We just have a tough time proving it. Thanks for the question.
Thank you very much.
We've got a Facebook question. You know, we have a lot of folks who visit our Facebook page, and Suzanne is one of them. She asks, my niece used to have beautiful platinum hair. Now that she's older, her hair is thicker and darker. Why does the hair color change as we get older? Part of the reason it happens, by the way, is as you go through puberty, your body will change the hormones a little bit, obviously, but those hormones actually influence the pigment, the dye that your hair naturally acquires, so it'll become a little darker. What most folks don't recognize is the effect of the sun. Because the sun will bleach your hair acutely, right? If you're in the sun for a couple of days or weeks, your hair will turn light. So short-term lightens the hair, long-term will actually darken the hair. I had other questions, yes? Hi. You can stand up.
Okay.
What's your first name?
Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Go. You have a balance problem, Kathy?
No,
when did it start?
I do. Yeah, just today.
Okay.
I have a question. Can an overactive adrenal gland go away by itself after about a year and a half?
Overactive adrenal gland.
Right.
Who told you you had an overactive adrenal?
I had one.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't sleep for about a year.
Yeah, not sleeping will cause it for sure, but also having it will cause sleeping problems.
I had a lot of tests, too.
Well, the thing about the adrenal gland is it's one of those organs. It's like adrenal gland sits on top of the kidney. It's like a dunce cap. It just lies on top of them. And it very quickly tells whether you feel stressed or not. And it will secrete hormones, stress hormones, depending on whether it senses that or not. And I see that a lot, not just from autoimmune problems, but also people literally from stress, in fact, impacting their ability to cope with life.
Oh.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Listen, I enjoyed all your questions. We'll be right back, everybody.
Coming up,
I want to know what's in that bowl and is it safe?
it looks delicious and inviting, but after you see this,
You will never double dip again.
are germs being spread at your party?
What we found.
How not to make your guests sick?
Got a quick solution for you?
That's next.
Welcome back. It's one of the biggest party days of the year, Super Bowl Sunday, or as we call it around my house, Super Germ Sunday. And that's because you won't believe what's living in your dips and candy bowls. In fact, I pretty much guarantee you will never double dip again after we reveal the results of an experiment that we call Is It Safe? The Party Edition. So, first up, Laverne, and she did a little experiment for us. You helped us with this double dipping experiment.
Yes,
What'd
I
you
did.
do?
What I did was I made some dips last week, and I went to my church. Yeah, that's them. So from the tasting, they didn't care whether they were double dipping. They didn't care about the germs.
They ravaged it.
They,
Right. So
they
here
took over the
are
dips.
4 bowls that we actually sent to the lab to
Okay.
figure out. Obviously, they had been double dipped. There are many bits of evidence of that.
Yes.
What we wanted to find out was what was going on from a bacterial perspective. And what we found was Group B Streptococcus.
What the heck is that?
Group B is one of those bacteria that's sort of found down below.
Okay.
You know, so it's not supposed to be there. It's in the intestinal tract and other places around that. When it comes in contact with food, it loves to grow in them because it's in your intestinal tract already. It causes meningitis. It can cause infections that are quite problematic. So the reality is, unfortunately, if you have even 3 to 6 double dips, you can transfer about 10,000 bacteria. 10,000 bacteria, Laverne, into the food. That's just with 3 to 6 double dips.
Wow.
So, got a quick solution for you?
Okay.
First off, cut your food.
Looks good.
So, it looks good, doesn't it?
Looks good.
So what you want to do is you want to use a technique that you can teach your friends, which is if you're going to eat my dip, you're going to take some of it and put it on your plate and get it from there.
Good idea.
Always keep the dip in the middle of the room.
Okay.
That way you can see it and they can see it.
Okay.
When it's over in the corner, we run the problems. You also want to make your cut up fruits and vegetables and everything have a finger-sized, bite-sized quantity. And buy the chips when they're small, so you actually can't take more than the amount you can eat. You're going to throw the whole chip in your mouth.
Okay.
Same for a piece of carrot, which I would prefer. And then it's gone. You can't double dip with it. Make sense?
Right. Okay. So the smaller the piece, the better the less they'll dip.
Exactly.
Double dip.
So you're going to be the double dipping police now?
Okay.
You're going to do that?
Don't worry. Yeah, I won't do the dipping anymore unless I know that the sizes are small.
Lauren, thank you very much.
You.
Thanks for helping with the experiment.
You're welcome.
Tina, come on up. So, Tina, you helped us with our mint bowl experiment.
Yes, I did.
So describe it to me. You had this.
Well, that is the bowl from my favorite restaurant.
It is.
I'm single, I live alone, I go out to eat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm constantly taking the mints because I can't pass them and I have to have them. And I want to know what's in it and is it safe?
Well, there's a rumor that many of you are probably aware of that there's urine.
Ew.
Little bits of urine from people going to the bathroom and touching the mints. Well,
okay.
We actually didn't find that.
Oh, good.
What we did find were two things. We found bacilli, right?
That looks harmless enough.
It looks harmless, but it's a soil contaminant, and it can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. You can get a lot of pathology from that. But we also found something else. We saw something called Streptococcus viridans.
Ooh.
You know where that's found?
No.
In the mouth.
Oh.
What it means is that people were touching their lips or their mouth and then reaching in the bowl, which makes a lot of sense. Doesn't it make sense on the surface? I mean,
yeah.
Good. So it's not surprising, like with all the rest of these, that we would find that. So, by the way, why don't you take this home with you?
No, you keep it.
Are you going to eat from this?
Pass it around to the audience.
That's right. Would you eat from that bowl again?
No, not at all.
I advise all of you, when you go out to public places and you find an open mint bowl like that, to refrain yourself. Instead, think about this.
Yeah.
Simple little solutions, again, individually wrapped. They're not difficult to find these. You can also bring your own. Simple approach. I want to thank our special assistant who helped with this. He's our consultant and analyst. He's the head of microbiology at NYU, Dr. Philip Tierno, for analyzing all of these results as he often does for us. I also want to thank our brave volunteers for doing these experiments with us. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
There are three important things I want you to remember from today's show. So get out your pen and paper so you won't forget them. First off, diet pills absolutely can work. They're a crutch, but it's important to take them with caution. Secondly, you got to get 7 hours of sleep a night. We say it all the time. If you're not and experiencing snoring and choking, you may need to be tested for sleep apnea. And finally, to avoid double dipping at your parties, serve bite-sized portions. It'll help keep germs from spreading and keep your guests healthy. Now, those are my doctor's orders. Remember, you got to keep it simple. And by making small, little changes every single day, you'll feel a whole lot better and live a much better and healthier life. I'll see you next time.